Bethesda released a small patch for the Steel Rain PTS yesterday, and here are the major changes you should know about. Hello everyone! Welcome back to another Fallout 76 video. It's news time! I missed this format so much, but we are back. Anyway, yesterday, June 28th, there was a rather small patch for the ongoing Steel Rain public test server, around 500 megabytes for PC with less than 20 patch note points. Today we had yet another one. It's more like a hotfix though, with 2 changes for the upcoming Facebreaker weapon. To be honest with you, most of the changes are very minor, and together with it, our hopes for some significant improvements, especially for the legendary crafting system, were simply smashed. However, some of the changes are important and very useful to know. As such, I spent some hours testing the following points, so let me walk you through it and of course show you what I discovered. As to be expected, there are spoilers in this video, so watch at your own risk. Let's get started. Okay, one of the most noticeable changes from the recent PTS patch was the replacement of one of the Steel Rain mission rewards. We were supposed to get a cryogenic bed for free after completing the upcoming mission, A Satisfied Conscience. It's a bit similar to what's inside Vault 96, but not entirely. The new model looked like this, but sadly this item had a series of major bugs attached to it, as reported by players on Bethesda's Discord server. The main issue was the fact that sometimes the cryogenic bed couldn't be placed on camps and shelters despite the plan being learned already. Moreover, when placed, the bed could simply vanish, disappear after being used. It was a completely broken item, and by the looks of it, Bethesda was not able to fix anything. So they decided to go for the easy path to remove this reward and replace it with something else far more generic, another Bungalow. Yeah, the replacement free reward is this Blacburner's Bungalow and the respective door. Another one for the collection, I guess. You can find it under the MISC category in building mode, together with the other bungalows if you have them unlocked already. There are at least 2. The Atomic Shop one in dark green and the bright green was a free reward from the Spread the Love event, which went live earlier this year. I have no idea why did they recolor this item again and added it as a new reward, instead of just releasing some other decor item existent in-game, which is not yet accessible to players. There are hundreds, if not thousands of them. Yeah. Anyway, I can't say this replacement is optimal. It clearly isn't. It's a really sad swap, actually. But I think it's better than the alternative, to release a naturally broken item which will not work for most players, and then it will generate even more anger and upsetting feelings. So in that regard, they did a good decision, but what they chose, well, that's an entirely different story. Well then, goodbye cryogenic bed, at least for the time being. Another major change live with the latest patch was the removal of a legendary effect for a few selected weapons. Yep, the rapid effect can no longer be attached or rolled for the Fatman, the M76, launcher and all black powder weapons. Why though? Well, that's a great question. I would like to know too. It's not clear why Bethesda went forward with this change. I heard there is a fire rate exploit for at least some of these weapons in the live servers, so it could be related to that, but maybe it's about something else. We will never know, since Bethesda doesn't really explain their decisions or changes when it comes to patch notes. I crafted some legendary black powder pistols as shown, and none of them came with a rapid effect. I know this doesn't prove much, but I believe this change is now active and running. One thing is for sure though, if you have such weapons with rapid already, then hold on to them because they are about to become legacy items once Steel Rain goes live on July 7. How tired are you of the persistent sound bugs? Well, we had many over time, but currently there is one active which involves huge enemy groups, especially featuring robots and Mr. Gootsies. If you are not sure what I mean, then please lower your volume and brace yourselves for a very unpleasant experience. Hey, don't blame the messenger, okay? I'm just trying to keep you informed. Yeah, so that's how it sounds like. The sound gets delayed and muffled, plus the sound effects stack and play all at once. It's a complete mess, and it kills your ears, literally. That's the main reason why my master sound for 76 is only 3%, sometimes 2%. It's my manual defense against this bug, and it works like a charm. Anyhow, this sound issue often triggers inside daily operations when you fight robots, but it's also common during queen fights. Now, Bethesda claims they have fixed this bug for good with the latest PTS patch. Is it true though? Well, I decided to test, and after angering all the robots at White Spring, going through the Dyer's chemical buildings back and forth like a lunatic, and just tanking dozens of robots at AOL Armaments, I'm quite convinced this bug is no more. I was not able to trigger this bug, not even once, despite triggering massive groups of robots, which are or used to be the main trigger for this bug. I also asked a few players and nobody could trigger this bug either. Obviously, I was not able to test it in daily operations, which is the most common scenario to trigger this bug, at least on my end, since the enemies are not robots in the latest rotations, but things are surely looking promising. Let's hope it stays that way and it keeps going through the DLC. Definitely one of the major points live with this update is about explosive ammo, which, according to Bethesda, did not report correct damage. It's a pretty vague description and it's difficult to know what they are referring to exactly. I mean, explosive weapons and ammo, mostly launchers, have always had major issues. Some more evident than others. It's old news, really. This Reddit post from 1 year ago expresses very well what I mean. Explosive damage in general is low, unreliable, inconsistent, and very, very buggy. Anyhow, there are two main issues with explosive ammo or explosive weapons. First of all, some of them will deal no damage or like 1-2 damage in VATS mode when used to target the enemy's head. As shown here, if you use a Gauss shotgun or a missile launcher, that often happens. This bug is still live on the PTS as shown in the footage, so whatever they fixed, it was clearly not this. The second major issue is about the dealt damage. Some launchers tend to inflict way less damage than the one shown in the Pip-Boy. For example, I put my bloodied Hellstorm to use for once, and as you can see, the base damage is about 800, but when I hit normal enemies, my damage is way inferior. Against this Assaultron, for example, my damage hardly even reached 300 damage per hit. But that leads to another issue. If you notice, the explosive damage is not applying to the target. When it does, you see 2 damage numbers per hit, just like it happened here, versus the Scorchebeast. But the problem is that the damage changes depending on the weapon you use, the target you hit, and even VATS mode. I figured that hitting a Scorchebeast outside of VATS will always deny the explosive ammo damage. In other words, you only deal half of the intended damage. These damage bugs are still there, just like the no damage or 1 damage bug, so I'm really not sure what have they fixed, if anything at all. I also encountered some strange events while using explosive ammo, like the super mutant auto-regenerating HP after being shot by missiles. So yeah, if you guys have more details about this change or fix, feel free to share in the comments below, because I have no idea what they fixed. I just know these 2 major persistent bugs were not the target of their fixing. They are very well alive and running, and that's a pity because they are very game impairing, but it is what it is. The next fix is about Scorchebeasts, and after testing several times, I think it's actually active. According to the patch notes, Scorchebeasts can no longer disintegrate, which means they are now able to keep their original bodies once killed, regardless of what weapon or perks you use to take them down. Now, I feel like this bug was fixed before, but then it returned. I might be wrong, but I have this feeling I read such note before. Anyway, I killed about a dozen of Scorchebeasts already using energy weapons only, and none of them turn into a goo pile or into meat pieces, like it can happen to most enemies when you equip the Bloody Mess perk. So far, so good, but then again, on the official servers, I don't think they disintegrated that often, at least on my end. They didn't. I guess only time will tell if this one is really fixed or not. Named legendary weapons are supposed to be crafted with the respective fixed legendary effects, but with the upcoming legendary crafting system, some of them lost that tag or keyword in the game files, and players were able to change their legendary effects for a short period. That's obviously not intended, and Bethesda has been fixing or returning bugged named legendary weapons back to normal. In this latest patch, the Black Diamond, the Farmhand, and the Gutter got changed to ensure players cannot craft or roll different legendary effects other than the ones intended for such named weapons. Now, I checked some of my stashed ones, such as the upcoming Facebreaker, also the Outbreaker, the Fact Finder, and even the Vats Unknown, and they all seem to be working fine. You cannot craft them or add legendary mods to them. However, if you guys are able to change such named weapons, you should report them directly to Bethesda because, as I mentioned, it's really not supposed to be that way. Alright, the last major change I selected for this video is about the voice chat. Apparently, there was some issue with it. As far as I know, players were not always able to hear each other when speaking for whatever reason. It just works. But now things seem to be back to normal. Anyway, do let me tell you that I decided to disable my voice chat due to the recent events with my account. So if you guys find me in game, don't be surprised if I don't answer, because I can hear anyone by choice. It's my manual protection sort of speaking. Still, I disabled it shortly yesterday to hear this good sir trying to fight me. And yes, I could hear him just fine. I also asked a few friends and they all said they can speak normally in game, so at first glance it should be fixed, but if it's not 100% working, don't be surprised. It's 76 after all, just saying. To finish off this news, I want to share a rather funny moment I experienced last night. While testing for this video, I came across this very bugged Deathclaw. He was just bouncing back, walking backwards and doing this strange noise non-stop. I think he got stuck on the throwing rocks skill animation and kept repeating it. Or maybe he just went, you know, cray-cray, and he lost it there. I can't blame him though. It's rough in the wasteland. Anyway, that's it for this one. I don't think there will be another huge update until the Steel Rain release next week on July 7. But if there's one, I will surely be very, very pleased to see whatever improvements and fixes they come up with. Well then, thanks for having me. I am Arthur Branco. Feel free to leave a like and subscribe, comment below and all of that. As usual, a huge thanks to all my dear supporters. You guys are the best, and I will see you all very, very soon in the next video. Until then, take care, adios, bye bye!